Okay, hi everyone. So I'm Maribel. I'm a technical writing manager and senior technical writer. This is the first time I attend Write Dogs and I talk in Write Dogs. I don't know why I decided it was a good idea to do both at the same time, but here I am. And we're going to talk about why accessibility is a great tool to build better products. So First of all, I want to add a disclaimer. I do not identify as someone with a disability. I don't have any cognitive or physical disability. So if you have someone in your workspace or in your life that have a disability, please hear them out. They will give you so much insight on any of these topics. They have the life experience. So I'm just an ally, but please, if you have someone in your life, give them a voice and hear them out. So first of all, this whole thing started because I saw this TED talk of Ellis Roy. I always liked accessibility, but this talk really made me very interested in it. And it's called When We Design for Disability, We All Benefit. And if you want to message me later, I can share you all the links that I use here. So she talks about a lot of things, but one of the things she talks about is how they made people made a lot of products for people with disabilities, and these became just staples in our day-to-day life. And they made great products and products that we use every day, and we don't know that they were actually made for people with disabilities. So what she tells us in this talk is advocating for the extreme user makes the average user superhuman. And this is a phrase that I really like. And this applies for product, for documentation, for everything. And as technical writers or as someone who writes documentation, we are usually advocates for users. We can tell the developers if the UI is not great, if it's not working correctly, because we're documenting it and we realize that it's not great when we're documenting it. And people with disabilities are great examples of extreme users and people who may have different ways of using your product, and they can find different problems or obstacles when using your product. And when we look at average people who are going to have very little problems and we only look at the happy path, we don't have cutting edge innovation. We only have the easy way out. So when people have advocated for the extreme user, we have gotten incredible things like texting, for example. I don't know about you, but I rather, and this was made for people who have speech impediments or they're hard of hearing and they couldn't call someone. So someone invited texting, send text, read text, or if you have a visual disability, you can just use a screen reader. And I'm sure you all know infomercials. I love infomercials. And most of the products in the infomercials are meant for people with disabilities, but they market them for everyone. And they're actually very useful products for people with or without a disability. My favorite one, my favorite thing that has come from advocating for people with disabilities is door handles. Because doorknobs are so hard to turn if you don't have your hands free, if you don't have good mobility in your fingers, and if you are temporarily disabled. This is a term that if you are carrying something, if you broke your arm, you can just use your elbow or use any other part of your body to open the door. And the term of temporary disability is something that I think this is where a lot of documentation comes from. If you ensure that you are doing documents and building products that are accessible for everyone, you are going to cater to all of the users if they have a disability as part of their lives or if it's temporary. And something you can do for your documents is don't use colors, for example, don't use screenshots to say where something is. When I say don't use colors, is what if someone prints your document, they shouldn't do it, but they could, in black and white, and then they cannot see the colors that you're using to explain your subject. Or if you have screenshots and they don't load, you're going to make half of your users disabled, and then you're not going to cater to your users that are disabled. And then you have to locate your users always in your document, because if someone cannot read everything, if someone has any cognitive disabilities, they're going to have a hard time finding things in your document, and if you locate them, everything is going to be easier for everyone. So not a lot of people care about document disabilities and accessibility, but you can. You can be the first ones. And if you have any questions or you want to talk more about it, I'm always open to chat. And this is it. Thank you.